as an individual, must have the desire to unlock your own potential, and you are fully responsible for creating a different experience for yourself and others. Most can't or won't take responsibility. Once you do, your life is enhanced, and you're not coming from a space of lack, fear, or even doubt. You see your own worth, and you respond to it positively and in support of self. To not allow yourself to expand is robbing you of your own precious time and energy. Life is not wasted on fear, doubt, anger, and mistrust. Rather, you learn from these emotions, and you can decide not to spin your wheels and exhaust your potential. Self-actualization is living up to our full potential, embracing our passions, and pursuing activities that are deeply fulfilling. A musician must make music, an artist must paint, a poet must write. If one is to be ultimately at peace with self, what a person can be, he or she must be. This tendency might be phrased as the desire to become more and more what one is to become, everything that one is capable of becoming. Abraham Maslow. It's okay to feel fear, but we grow from the examination of our fears and insecurities, not by letting them box us into a smaller existence and less fulfilling life. Taking on too much too fast can sometimes be overwhelming and drive us away from our goals. A pathway to discovery and unlocking your true gifts and talents doesn't have to be the overnight plunge. It can be a gradual process. Just try doing something simple or small, and then gradually do more and more. Allow yourself time for inner reflection and assessment to discover what you liked about it and what you didn't like about it. Ask yourself what came naturally to you and how did it make you feel. Hey, welcome everybody to Andromeda 7, your celestial gateway and your channel for community support, help, friendship, love, knowledge, and being of value to others. Welcome subscribers for coming back. If you're new to the channel, it's good to have you with us. And tonight we are talking about discovering self-worth, gifts and talents. How do we unlock our potential? How does fear hold us back? How do you find the courage? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you build on to get past all that? And are we afraid of being judged, maybe? So many factors. And I think a lot of us kind of judge ourselves, don't we? Before anyone else can. So how do we get past all that? Anyway, let's say hello to chat. That's what we're here talking about tonight. Miss Chloe, good to see you. Deborah Sloan, always a pleasure. Mary Wins, thanks for being here. Let's see, we've got to scroll. Lucky Stone, good to see you as well. Mark the Arc Spark, good to see you. Gaza Cav, good to see you as well. Yeah. Looks like you've been doing some shopping. Maybe what I like to call, my sister and I like to call it retail therapy. When you buy something you don't need.
Not just about everything.
Just do it. You know, why not? What the heck? Scotty boy, good to see you. Always a pleasure. And let's see. I think I pretty much got everybody for now. They're still kind of rolling in. But yeah, here we are. Another Friday, giving of our time and energy. And just saying hello to everybody. Hi, Sophia. Thank you for being here. Teresa, good to have you with us. Dalibor, always a pleasure. Grandpa Brian, love seeing you here. Hi, Kelly Boyle just joined us, and Barry Chad, Elderberry, is here as well. Max G just popped in. Hey, guys, thanks for coming in. Yeah, so what you thinking about this, Teresa? What's your thoughts? How do we unlock our potential? I mean, what gets us past that?
Well, I don't know. I think most people, at least I did, you spend a good part of your life just trying to figure out who you are and what you're
Mm,
about.
so true.
I mean, I must have switched my majors 3 or 4 times before I ever decided on what I really wanted to do in my
Hmm.
career.
Yeah.
And even since then, I've switched it around. I've reinvented myself numerous times. And I
Hmm.
think it just depends as you go through life and you go through your experiences, you start discovering more and more about yourself. The
Hmm.
thing I like about these kinds of programs in the spiritual community is they help you to increase that self awareness. And
Hmm.
we started discussing this about doing this show because you and I both, and probably tons of other people in our community, being managers, managing other people,
Hmm.
we we try to look to the core of a person to bring out the best that's in them.
Hmm.
We
Well, you
don't look at
certainly
them
do that,
we
Teresa.
do, we don't look at them to see what's bad about this person. We look
Right.
at each and every person to say what's different about this
Hmm.
person, what's
How
unique, what's special,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and do they know it? Do they know
Yeah.
that they're that? Do they know they're this way?
Mhm.
And you just start a rapport, and that's how it was done with me. People would start talking to me and they'd get to know me because they really wanted to get to know me.
Mhm.
And then I found through them, through their mirror, that lens that they hold up, that I had
Mhm.
some talents and put them to use. So I think that the first step is just reaching out and getting your face out there. And I think people are
Yeah.
shy for all the
Yes,
reasons
yes.
you mentioned in the video. We're
Yes.
shy, we're gun shy,
Yeah.
or
I rem yeah.
or
I remember starting when we first started doing this, and I had just my guide had nudged me into doing Pure Love Ascension and talking about the
yeah,
spiritual awakening and that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And it took a lot because I would judge myself, I'd watch myself back, and I would just like pick myself apart. And finally, once I got past all that and I decided that I can't control that, I can't control what other
yeah,
people are thinking about me. It's
Right?
probably best to just be yourself and, get up there and do what you got to
hmm
do. And I'm so glad I did because I pushed through the fear. And by doing that, we've created a really great space for people to come in,
yeah,
like-minded individuals that want to share information, and we're always coming from a place of what we know, not saying it's right or wrong. It's just energy, it's just vibration. We're just here talking about what works for us and the things that we've experienced. And I mean, there's been some really amazing experiences with spirit that I think most people would just love to poo poo. um, but that doesn't negate that these things happen and that they're going on. So, without spirit's help, I wouldn't be here right now. I don't think Teresa, you would be here. I don't think any of
no,
us would really be here. We're
No.
divinely guided and gently nudged to do this kind of stuff, and we're not a monetized. We're a very small channel. We're not out trying to make a bunch of money. Um,
yeah,
that's not what motivates us. What motivates us is helping others and being of value to others, because truly that's what it's all about. Hi, Karen, Queen of Courts. It's good to see you. Glad you popped in tonight. Hey, I caught your podcast with Michelle Thompson, and that was absolutely
Ah,
fascinating. I enjoyed listening to that. It was just fantastic, and the synergy between you two was
oh, good.
something. Yeah, that
yeah. It was something. Who knew?
her
Who
experience with
knew?
the crystals and what you had experienced. It was just mind blowing. So yeah,
Yeah.
Michelle Thompson.
Oh,
Check her
good.
out on YouTube as well. Hi,
Yeah, check it
Trina.
out.
Good to see you. Yes. How are
Hey,
you, dear
Trina.
sister? Good to see you.
Hi, Trina.
Awesome,
Been a
awesome.
while, Trina. Good to see you.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Karen, we're just sitting here talking about discovering our self-worth, our gifts, our talents. Just as many people have talked about on many different channels, how do you reach your full potential? um, those kind of questions. And what do you say to those people who are watching and thinking that, gosh, they just can't do that? what would you tell someone that's just kind of stuck in that place and doesn't know how to get out of it? What would you say to them, Queen of Courts?
Um, that, of course, we're our own worst enemies.
Right?
And
Boom.
there's no one
Mhm,
but ourselves
mhm,
that hold us in the highest uh, as far as manifesting and what we do. Like you said, we're hardest on ourselves. There's no one
mhm,
that holds us most hardest on what we're doing and viewing of ourselves and
mhm,
perceptions and everything than it is ourselves. And it's like you say, when you learn how to step aside and realize that to stand in your full power and express yourself, it doesn't really matter what other people's perceptions or what they think or what they say, or
mhm.
because everybody has a different viewpoint of every moment and experience, and what they see and view, it's so different. And if
Right.
you take everything personally, and the one thing as a Toltec warrior learned is how not to take things personally,
Ooh, that's a
and
good one.
it's all about energy exchange and
Mhm,
energy between everything we do, between minerals, plants, people, animals. It's our interaction in this realm and that energy that we exchange between everything.
mhm,
And it's knowing when which energy that you thrive on and is positive for you, and which
mhm,
energies are going to be the promote you to be the grandest, best person you could be in this realm of expression of yourself,
mhm,
and which energies that are not conducive for your reality and for manifestation of where you want to go and
mhm,
experience, and the discernment and the power to do that, right?
mhm.
So yeah, I mean, it's all an energy exchange,
Yeah,
and to learn that. So
and
when you
consistency.
like you said, when you consistency, and when you learn that and learn about yourself
Mhm,
and learn that which is best and suited for you, you kind of flow with everything instead of running against or flowing against the current. You learn how the energy of our reality and how our energies work, and how the energy of everything around you is more conducive for a great flowing energy of, that's not against yours. And so it's just a nicer ride. Let's put it that way. Easier,
no doubt
nicer
ab
ride in
Yeah.
life, in life, and
Yeah, I want
manifesting.
some cruise control, and I don't want any sudden
Yeah,
stops. I don't need any speeding tickets. I just want to,
that's
come
right.
in, get the job done, and move forward and get my growth and graduate and accept my graduation papers.
Yeah,
Ab-
and when you're throwing in a curve or a right angle, or where you have
sure.
to make a turn in that road,
Yeah.
and you're
I
throwing
got a
into another
really
direction or
big
another
catcher's
path,
mitt.
it's yeah, it's to learn how to then adjust yourself and then learn how to flow and make adjustments in your life to get back on track and path of energy that makes you, because we're always learning, growing, and changing those uh, you know uh, rivers or flows that we go on as we grow and change, right? So we're
Mhm.
always making changes. I am too.
Yep.
You never stop,
Yep.
right?
Nope.
So
And just make the
as
adjustment.
things are thrown at you, you make
Mhm.
the adjustments and you readjust the energy to suit
Mhm.
yours again,
Mhm.
and to make sure it's conducive and it's pushing you to be the best you can be.
Definitely. And I think also too, it's good to remember that if it's okay to be afraid of something, but if you can meet that fear head on and just like get right in front of it and just persevere and get through it. Typically, when you get to the other side of it, that's when you've gotten through that and you become stronger, wiser. You've learned your lessons,
Yeah.
and nobody's perfect, and you don't want to be perfect here because you don't learn from being perfect. You learn from making those mistakes. But the thing you got to tell yourself is it's
Mhm.
okay to make the mistakes.
Hmm.
Just don't repeat those mistakes and move forward and forgive yourself. It's okay. No matter what's happened in the past or what you've done, you write yourself a little permission slip. Hey, it's okay to be like this. In the future, I'm going to change that and I'm going to do the best I can. And um, That's
I was,
go ahead.
I'm going to follow up on that
Okay.
because Gary, you just said, posted something that Gary was saying
Mhm.
about his situation.
Mhm.
And what you were just saying, every professional athlete loses a game or something, a race.
Mm.
Every
Mhm.
writer struggles with their craft.
Mhm.
Every musician has faced criticism. Every
Mhm.
physician has lost a patient, just about. Every comedian has a joke that falls flat. I read this once before I was
Mhm.
remembering it. So,
Mhm.
despite those individual moments, and it's not always fun, on a surface level,
Mhm.
it's not all, it's the journey, it's the pursuit of what
Yeah.
makes you come alive. What makes me come alive?
Mhm.
Where does, what is my, that's what we're talking about tonight, is the self-actualization of, wow, I could sit here and eat a stale piece of bread, or I can dine on fine cuisine. What do I want? How far do I want to go with this? Am I willing to give
Mhm.
up a current job to do something I'd much rather do that's more suited to me? I did it. I did it. I did it 3 times.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
quit 3 different professions to do what I wanted to do. Now I ended up in a different way because of an accident. But go ahead,
Mhm.
Sophia.
Yeah, go Sophia.
Honestly, I can only speak from my own experiences, and getting when I am called or compelled or attracted to a situation, I grow when I'm out of my comfort zone. I
Mm.
will perpetually be in my Zen den with my metaphysical stuff and,
Mhm.
not go anywhere, but I almost force myself to interact, because if I want to grow and continue to evolve, in my opinion, it has to do with reciprocity. If you want something, then focusing on the peer group of people that are going to lift you up, that when you're having a bad day, they're going to remind you this is
Right.
temporary. Keep going. You've
Yeah.
been through things before. Look at your trophy shelf. When
Mhm.
you thought you were going to
Yeah.
fail and you succeeded, you can use that. I use it as an updraft, because I was terrified to go to camp and enroll in the classes and things like that at first. And a lot of meditation, a lot of talking to trusted people that truly, they're not just curious, they
Mhm.
really care.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's hard to find that. And that's another reason why I love participating with this show. I mean, look at the chat, guys. It's
Mhm.
nothing but love and edification and acceptance, and just, I mean, more of that, because the world is not going to do that. It's up to us to pick the healthy people that deserve to be around us.
Mhm. Yep.
That's how I did it, and
Yep.
that's how I continue to do it.
Mhm.
It's a responsibility.
People have to earn your trust, no
Yeah.
doubt
Right.
about it, and you have to be trustworthy in return. Otherwise, it's not going to make for a very good relationship, is it? And let's face it, that's why we're here, is to engage in relationships. No
Love
doubt
did
about it.
win, Mary wins,
And,
love
and
wins.
Yeah, love always
yeah,
wins, that's for
Yep.
and I
sure.
find that's right. And don't you find, everybody, that no matter where you are in life in this journey, that for some reason you're automatically attracted to, or people, vice versa, to the people that you need to in your life at that specific time
Yeah.
Mhm.
to move you
Yeah.
forward in your path. And
Mhm.
sometimes it seems like it's the hardest, most negative thing, or they seem like they're a petty tyrant, or there's something really negative. But like you
Mhm.
say, you need that to move you on your path, because
Mm.
if everything's
Yeah.
really positive and you don't change, you don't make those changes, you don't
Mhm.
rethink, you don't go in deep, you don't want to look at things.
Mhm.
So I just
Yep.
find that both ways, and the positive is way you always are, I find, around people that are vibrating
Mhm.
around the same energy as you at that time, and it's an exchange back and forth, and you're with those people that you should be at that time in your life. I
You know,
just
Yeah.
find
some
that always.
Karen,
Well said.
sometimes it's not, yeah, well said. Sometimes it's, I have found, it's not always the people that you're attracted to the most or that you think will give you the biggest boost.
Mhm.
Sometimes, if you really want something bad enough and you really feel compelled to make that change or to make that shift to bring out something from within, I've actually put myself in positions where I've had to work with some pretty not so great people in order to achieve the next step on my path. And so sometimes you have to be willing to work
Mhm.
with people you might not really enjoy being around for a
Oh,
while. And
that's
you
the
might get
truth.
up every day and go to work and go, "Oh God, I got to deal with this guy again."
Mhm.
But the thing is that you learn something from that experience while you're
Mhm.
achieving your target, so that you can then hop over to the next level up,
Yeah.
which is where you really want to be.
Interesting, Teresa. Would you say that happens most times consciously or subconsciously with people, that exact thing? Because I think it's something that happens subconsciously a lot of times
A
for
little bit of both, but
people.
in my case, I had managers who came into me and said, "We don't know how long we can employ you here in the company." Now, mind you,
Mm.
the president of the company hired me for a reason, because I had skill sets that his quote unquote technical people didn't have. So they're coming into me and saying, "We don't know how long we can keep you billable. We don't know how much value you have to our company at this point because you're not technical enough. We
Bye,
need more
Felicia.
we need more programmers," right? And I'm like, "Really? I just signed 3 different contracts with 3 different departments in this company that you've never been in before and just helped you hire 15 people to fill those roles. How do you think I did that? Do you think I did it because I'm a technical programmer? I did it because I know how to interact with people and I know how to translate their requirements, their needs into requirements that your technical people can fulfill. Your technical people don't know how to talk to people. So don't
Yeah.
tell me I don't have any value in this company." And
Mhm.
so I consciously made the decision to
Mhm.
stay in that environment, even though those guys didn't want me. I said, "But I don't care whether they want me. I want
Mhm.
this opportunity
Mhm. Mhm.
because I'm able to do things I've never been able to do before." Go ahead, Sophia.
Sophia.
Before I had the privilege to interact with this particular soul tribe, all my relations, Camp Chesterfield, the other places, I would have to edify myself, lift myself up, what am I feeling and
Yeah.
why, because I got to a point where I was tired of living in low vibration because like attracts like.
Mhm.
I didn't want that around me, but what I had to do, specifically speaking to what I hear you saying there, Teresa, hurt people hurt people. It is
Mhm.
that simple.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
somebody is being nasty, there is a
Yeah.
festering emotional wound that they're ignoring, and being aware of that comes with a sense of
Mm-hmm.
responsibility. And it was kind of like what Scotty said a little bit ago in chat is, if it's important, maybe if you feel comfortable, if you feel to be productive, take that person aside and do some reflective listening. What I hear you saying, because some people get stuck and they don't even
Mm-hmm.
realize what they're doing until they hear someone say it back to them. And then,
Right.
so I'm not trying to say that we need to do that with every person, every situation. But if it lingers, at least journal about it. Journaling, in my opinion, is so powerful because
Mhm.
you take it from a sword, from a thought, and you turn it into a wand, which is an
Mhm.
action. So,
Mhm.
and that's metaphysical chemistry. If
Yeah.
you rinse, repeat something in a healthy fashion,
Mhm.
you give yourself a better chance to survive in
Mhm.
toxicity until spirit opens or source opens a door for something higher and better.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
When you're in those situations too, it feels like it's something that's just going to go on forever. And part
Yeah.
of understanding spirituality is knowing that relationships are either a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And every relationship has a beginning, a middle, and
Yeah.
an end. And eventually it's going to
Yep.
change. So it's good to keep
Supposed
that
to.
in mind when you're in the thick of it. That this is not a forever thing, but sometimes when you're in the physical body and you're dealing with this kind of
Feels like
stuff,
it.
it sure feels like it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Dalibor, what you got on this, brother?
Buddy.
I can
Well,
feel
I would
you, the
say,
wheel spinning.
yeah, I would say, I would say don't let yourself become a victim of your own free will. Um,
Good one.
Ooh.
Mic
Ooh,
Woohoo!
nice.
drop.
Yeah, good one.
That's that's brilliant,
yeah.
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
In
Don't be
other
a
words,
victim of
a
your
lot.
own free will.
Yeah. In other
Yeah.
words, a lot of people start out in life and say, "Okay, I'm going to be this. I'm going to study this, and I'm going to be that, and I'm going to do that for the rest of my life."
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to change with the circumstances, and the circumstances are basically always changing. And when I
Yes.
Right.
was a young man, they were changing quite a bit. I mean, just like Teresa, I switched my
Hmm.
major a couple of times. I started out
Yep.
as an electrical engineering major.
Hmm.
Then I went into business management, then
Hmm.
into finance, and then the revolution of 1989 happened in Czechoslovakia.
Mm.
And I saw that as a huge opportunity. I was like, this is not going to repeat. I'm going to seize my chances while I can. So I took all my college credits and I asked my counselor, like, what kind of degree can I get for this? And he said marketing. So I took one additional semester,
Hmm.
and that got me a degree in marketing. And I left for Czechoslovakia and basically never returned, almost never returned.
Hmm.
And that was, looking back, I took the road less traveled, and
Hmm.
that was the best decision I could have ever made, because I went from being a small fish in a big pond to being a much bigger fish in a smaller pond.
There you go.
And that's where
Hmm.
I was. I mean, I didn't go there having a job or anything, any kind of prospects. I just felt it. I just felt that this was the right thing to do.
Hmm.
And
Trust
that's
your
where I was.
intuition. Yeah.
Exactly. That's where I
Hmm.
was finally able to not only get the job I wanted, but also start my own business that I wanted, that I've
Hmm.
done several times
Hmm.
over the past few years. And like back in the early part of the century, a lot of people were going west, go west. Well, I did the opposite. I went east.
Mm.
In
And
other
it
words, I
worked
went
for you.
against. Yeah, I went
Hmm.
against the flow, because I saw that as an opportunity that will never repeat. I'm not going to go be able to, like, say, all right, I'll get my degree in finance. So 4 years from now or 3 years from now, I'm going to have a degree in finance, and then what? By then, that opportunity may have petered out. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
anytime I analyze it, I'm like, yes, I know I did the right thing because I followed my instincts and I wasn't a victim of my own free will.
Hmm. I
I
love
like
that.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very
Me too.
nice. How about you, Grandpa Brian? What's what's your reflection on this?
Well, when I started opening up my gifts and
Hmm.
actually sharing them with people, I've had people laugh at me,
Oh
and
my, really?
yeah, and I just
Oh,
kind of smiled at them and walked away because I knew
they
the
weren't
reason
there
why they
yet.
were making fun because they
Hmm.
did not understand.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
we tend to do that. We've all done that to others, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
correct,
Made them
Mhm.
uncomfortable, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Because
yeah.
Probably.
they're uncomfortable. Yep.
Yeah, made them
Hmm.
uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Not only
Hmm.
that, I think they were trying to get a reaction out of me, and I didn't give them
Hmm.
the satisfaction of giving them a reaction. So I just smiled at them and walked away.
Hmm.
What a lot of people don't understand, opening up your gifts right now, because we just came out of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, which I do believe it only happens uh every 25,000 years. We're in
I
each
think it's
sign for,
26,000 years. Yeah.
yeah,
Depend on the book and the
Hmm.
teacher.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
right.
True. True.
So
Thousands of years. Okay.
the
Couple
energies are there now because we're entering into the age of enlightenment for us to
Hmm.
tap into.
Hmm.
We're
Yep.
coming out of that age of man where it was all about the self and the
Hmm.
material, and
Hmm.
we're moving into that spiritual. And it's important to open up your gifts, even if people make fun of you.
Hmm.
You know, you just got to know they don't understand. They're on their path. You're on your path, and
Hmm.
Hmm.
let them judge, but don't judge them.
It's fear, man. It's fear.
Right?
It's
They're
also
afraid.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
also
fear.
the fact that people will make fun of you when they're jealous of you.
True.
That is true.
Jealous.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Hmm.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
green monster comes out.
Yeah,
I
but if
had
they would ask, I would help them open up their gifts.
But they
I would
don't.
show
You
'em
know, they don't because
right.
they're in
They're on their
their
path.
they're in
Yeah.
their trauma or they're in their
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Hmm. I have to say, Teresa, you are extremely talented in your ability to pull people out of that belief that they're not good enough for something. You're very good at coaching and bringing things out in people. I'm so thankful that I met you and that we have a close relationship and a bond that allowed me to see myself in a different light. And without someone like you, it was very difficult to do. So, what I would highly suggest is just finding those like-minded people and just spend a lot of time with them
Yep.
and know that
right.
they've got your back. They're going to be honest with you. You're going
Yeah.
to be honest with them. And
Yeah.
when you start coming from those places, things start to shift in your life and you start realizing what's really
Yeah.
important,
Yep.
is whatever someone's doing over there, is that really any concern of mine? I mean, we're all safe, everything's going good, but I can tell that person is, just not in the same space. And
Well, I'll tell
I'm
you,
not
Lori.
I'm not going to be triggered by it. Go
I'll
ahead.
tell
Right.
you, Lori.
Yeah.
I spent years.
Mhm.
I was what you call an average kid, an
Mhm.
average student. My light didn't shine in any one direction, or at least I didn't
Mhm.
think it did.
Well, it
And
shines now.
I was told, thank you. I was told by school counselors
Uh-huh.
and that told my parents she'll never amount to anything
Mhm.
specific. Put
Yeah.
her on a course of getting married and having kids. That's what she'll end up doing.
Mhm.
And
Wow.
yeah, I was told I couldn't. I wasn't
Hmm.
college material. I would never go to college. I had trouble with reading and writing. I had to do remedial classes
Mhm.
when I was in elementary school. I
Mhm.
had to take special classes. You know,
Right.
Mhm. So you
so
know what it's like to feel that way,
I know what
and
it's
you
like
know
to be
what it's
told you
like to
can't
pull
be a
that out of someone.
success.
Yeah. Yep.
Exactly, and
And you're
so
like, "Bullshit.
Ah,
I
That's
just,
not happening."
it's like you're banging your head up against the wall, and then so you feel like
Oh.
you can never amount to anything, and then you look, folks. You start small,
Mhm.
like one thing at a time. Like Sophia said, I just decided to go to camp and try it. Why not?
I was
You know,
terrified.
I
Mhm.
I decided to try all these
Yeah.
different things.
Mhm.
It's like you do one thing. What nobody pulled me out of the soup. I had to pull myself out. Okay,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
so I didn't have a Lori or a Sophie or a Karen or I didn't have that.
Mhm.
So what you do is you just say, what do I want to do? What would make me happy? Oh, I like
Mhm.
working with those kids over in Special Olympics. I think I'll go over there and spend some time with them. And then I think I like the Auxiliary Coast Guard with because they go out and help people. So every day you make a decision to try something and then you evaluate it. How did that make me feel? Did it serve me?
Mhm.
Is it something I liked or I didn't like? What did I like? What did I not like? And why didn't I like it? How could I make it better? Or what
Ooh,
else could I
Sophia.
try? So it's every
Mhm.
day. It's like not maybe not every day, but every pretty often you just keep one foot in front of the other, and you just start doing little things. Once you
Mhm.
start doing the little things and you feel good about it, it's like I can do this.
Mhm.
Wow,
You
I can
start
make a
gaining
difference.
confidence. Yep, that's
Yeah, so
exactly right.
everything that those other people are telling me is a lie.
Mhm.
That's their perception. Sorry, but I know I'm better than what they're saying. And guess what? I put myself through Maryland University, and I failed. Uh, I failed the first two. Not failed. I didn't make the quality points that I needed to make, and so I switched to my major and did something that was eh, more that I liked to do, and then I soared. I got excellent grades, and I graduated with a degree, Bachelor of Arts in Communications and Theater. I wouldn't have
Mhm.
had that had I stayed on course and kept accepting my failures, or I'll never amount to anything. Or they said I shouldn't go to college. Well, guess what? I did. I went to university, not college. So ugh, on you,
Mhm.
and that you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying. That meant
Yep.
something.
Mhm.
I know it doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. It's just that it's an achievement. It's something you can put under your pillow and say, I did this. It's an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you
Start
gotta, you just,
small.
Yeah.
sometimes you
Start
just
small.
gotta, sometimes you just gotta ask yourself, like, what's the freest I can be? What's the
Yeah,
freest I can be? Which option gives me the most amount of freedom? And base everything on that.
absolutely.
Yeah, and follow your intuition. Know that that feeling in the gut's telling you when something doesn't feel
Mhm.
right. Don't go against that feeling. Know that feeling is your higher self, your infinite part of yourself that has gone through a lot of stuff, knows that that's probably not good for you. So,
Yeah, yeah,
heed that warning, but uh
Definitely. Yeah.
there's just so much to it, but honestly, it comes down to just being the kind of person that you want others to be to you, and you exude
hmm
that, you set the example, and you show the world that that's how you want to be. I want to be positive, productive, kind, I just want to be there for other people. I need them to be there for me as well. And just, I guess, general
yeah,
all around support means everything. And if you don't have that support, it makes it difficult. So sometimes you got to
yeah,
kind of go outside your comfort zone and find that support. And once you do, things will start shifting and moving in ways you never thought possible. And we're all here to tell you that's exactly what we've been doing. And we're very good at it, wouldn't you say?
Practice.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of practice, no doubt
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And everybody does need support, encouragement, and love.
Mhm.
And we're not a standalone island. We're as
Nope.
humans or the spiritual beings or whatever we're doing in this reality. We're not here to be on our own or to do it ourselves. That's not the
Mhm.
purpose of this journey.
Mhm.
So don't feel guilty. I find don't push people away. Don't
Mhm.
depending. Don't feel bad about it.
yeah,
Embrace it.
Mhm.
Embrace those that um, are there to give you that support and love. You can feel the energy, the
Mhm.
ones that make the difference, and that the ones,
Right.
like Sophia says, that you need, that you can go to when
yeah,
you're in your most needy time. Those people that will give you the energy that will uplift you and push you forward for the next
yeah,
day, for the next moment, for the next experience, right? And
Mhm.
Yep.
that's why we talk to each other, and we know who we need
yeah,
to talk to depending how we're feeling, right? It
Mhm.
Yep.
varies to
Mhm.
person depending what's going on in your life too. Sometimes I need to talk to my sister. Sometimes I need to talk to Teresa really bad. Sometimes it's Delabar. It just
Mhm.
depends. Or Brian. It's like, oh my God, Brian, I haven't talked to you in so long. I just need your energy a little bit.
Yeah.
We need to interact for a little bit because I'm
Mhm.
Isn't
missing
it
it.
nice? Isn't it
Yep.
nice to know that we can pick up the phone and text somebody and say, "Can you talk tonight?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
Yep.
do you have time? Do you
Yeah.
have time to get together tonight?" "Oh yeah, sure. I'll make time. I'll
Mhm.
I
make time." If
make
somebody
time. Yeah.
if
Yep.
Mhm.
somebody sends me a message like that, I make time.
Yeah.
Mhm. No doubt
There has
about
to
Mhm.
it.
be a really good reason.
Yeah.
If I don't, it's usually like a
Mhm.
family kind of thing. But
Yeah.
Mhm.
also, uh, celebrate. Don't forget to celebrate those moments because sometimes they're few and far between, and you
Right.
have all these
Yeah.
milestones, and then you work, 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 and then you forget to pat yourself on the back. Lori's forever saying, "Give yourself a Mickey Mouse pat on the back."
Yes.
So,
Mhm.
but I tell you, I
Correct.
being it took me, it was my third year at university, and I won an award. I was the first recipient of the Estelle Tepper Scholarship Award for Best Undergraduate Female Artist and Designer in Taw's Theater. I'd never won anything in my entire life. Never, not one trophy, not one ribbon. I'd never won anything. I was always told I was mediocre. And I put my all into switching that major over to communication arts and theater. And I put my heart into my design and art side of things. Got away from the science and into the art. Gave it my best shot, gave it my passion. And I won a scholarship that paid for an entire semester at University of Maryland. It paid for an entire semester.
Nice.
And I got job offers from it too, from the local concert fields,
Mm-hmm.
pavilions, and things like that. So I celebrated. I celebrated. I didn't let it go to my head and become a monster. I just was like, I just celebrated. I partied for a week with my friends,
Good for
and
you.
my mom hung me. They had an award ceremony. There was 3 other kids that won other things too, so there were 5 of us that had an award banquet for us, and I shined. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I shined, and I didn't care,
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, you know what? Here I am, what, 20, almost 20, and for the first time in my life, I felt like something. I felt like
Yeah.
someone.
Yeah.
Is that
Felt good.
ego? Sure. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you need ego. Sometimes you need ego to give you a kick in the
A
pants,
good
just like you need.
ego.
Yeah, a
Mm-hmm.
good ego. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
so I'm saying to you folks, celebrate those moments of success
Mm-hmm.
or those moments of elation or what
Mm-hmm.
makes you feel good. Don't worry about feeling like you're conceited or somebody's judging you. Allow it to absorb into your DNA because you need that. We all need those little rewards here and there
Mm-hmm.
to help us make it through
Mm-hmm.
those tough times where we're
And
not going to
and try some
get it.
self-reliance too. Build your own confidence and have
Yeah,
self-reliance, and
Yeah.
that comes from your confidence will peak. Also, I think it's important to do the flip side. If you're dealing with people that you just don't resonate with, that you just can't be around, creating those barriers are super important. And
Mhm.
making sure that you make it very clear as to what you'll tolerate and what you
Yeah.
won't. And
Boundaries.
there's something to be said for just walking away from a situation when things get really emotional or heated. And that is hard for people to do because most people want to make their point and they want to get that across and they want to be heard. And you'll find yourself over time not really caring so much about that anymore, and that it's more important to just walk away and not deal with the drama. Wouldn't you say, Grandpa Brian? I know you're a lot
yeah.
like that. You do that a lot, and I admire that about you.
Oh yes, no drama for the llama. Uh,
Yeah. I
yeah,
I love that.
uh,
think I got a lighter that says that.
it's the best thing that you can do. Just remove yourself from the situation,
Mm-hmm.
remove yourself from the energy, and like I said, know that they're on their path, you're on
Right.
your path, and you know
Yeah.
what
Yep.
they're trying to do is get a reaction out of you. If you
Absolutely.
if you don't give them a reaction,
Mm-hmm.
that's even going to
There's
make
nothing
them.
to feed on. You
Yeah,
can't
they're
feed
gonna
on nothing.
you're going to piss them off more not give them a reaction than if you
Yeah.
would give them reaction, because that's
Yeah,
what they're wanting is a reaction from you.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been somebody who shied away from conflict. So yeah, I do endorse the fact that sometimes you do need to leave. But I'm the kind of guy that just I don't let the situation get to me to the extent that it would take away from what I'm doing. In other words, I could be in the middle of a Wild West saloon with a gunfight going around me, but if I'm in the middle of doing a
Yeah.
marketing cost analysis, you know, I'm gonna
at,
finish
at,
it.
at
You're
the
like,
bar,
yeah, I'm
at the
crunching numbers.
bar, of course.
I'm gonna
It's at the
finish it.
bar.
Yeah.
There's Dalibor sitting at the bar with his shot doing his cost analysis.
Yeah.
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 You're not in
So
my millennium.
in other words, that's gonna be that my way of expressing my freedom. It's like I
Hmm.
have the freedom to like
To
not
choose how
care,
you want to feel. Yeah. If I don't,
to not
if
give
I
a
don't.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
those scenes in the movies where the guy picks up whatever he's doing off the table when they're fighting and they put it back down. There's Dalibor with his compass and pencil, and he picks it up off the table, puts it down. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
That pretty much sums up my life. Yeah, really.
Yeah. That's true, Scotty Boy. Says, I stumbled into this family right when I needed y'all at 1 second sooner. I would not have accepted it. Yeah,
Whoa.
you got to
Yeah.
be
That's it.
ready for
That's
it
it.
too. You got to be asking the questions and want to know more, and you want to break through those programs and cycles. And once you do that, then you're open to new concepts, And then you just start opening your whole world to a different reality. And it's pretty amazing, actually, when you think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I
Um,
wanted to make a comment, but just
mhm,
back one because of Sophia mentioned about a compliment as
mhm,
as opposed to taking criticism, and it's true. We are always so likely or first to take the criticism as opposed to the compliment. Always, we find it so hard for some reason to do that, and so
mhm,
it's like Sophia said, if we get to the point of loving and self-worth and everything and looking at it to accept all of that positive and compliments into our energy, into our fields, and that's what we're going to accept and get all the time. Instead of readily accepting the negative
mhm,
and criticism, then that means you're always accepting that first. And it's always the energy you want first and above all, rather than the compliment and the love and the thing. We're always resistant to that.
Yeah.
And it does take mastery to
mhm,
get to the
Rec-
point of always of the love and deserving and saying yes, thank you, that I will
mhm,
take that compliment and thank
well,
you.
it takes mastery too to step aside, to put the emotional aspects to the side in order to recognize. Lori and I were talking. It's cycles. You have to learn how to recognize the patterns and the cycles,
mhm,
and it could be carryover from previous lives. It could
mhm,
be whatever you've experienced here in this life, you know. But it's being able to step outside of yourself as an observer and look down and go, okay, I don't mean down in a negative way, just look at the bigger picture and go, what are these patterns? And then ask yourself, why? Why is this a pattern for me?
mhm.
Self examination. And you really need to want to get to that point where you can discover more about what's going on inside. What's
How?
ticking you? What's making you tick?
Yeah, go ahead, Sophia.
Speaking to what Teresa just said, you have the rational mind or the logic mind, okay, which would be the left. Then you have the emotional mind, which is the right. So you
Mhm,
have two paths, but in all actuality, you have three. Because if you're very
Mhm.
analytical, you lean, to the rational and leave the emotional out of it. It's meant to work together. So if you
mhm,
Yeah.
choose the middle path and balance and maintain that, it's a wisdom mind.
mhm,
So you have
Yes.
enough emotion and enough logic and rationale, and you pull it together in the situation. Part of me thinks that's why we do this when we pray.
mhm.
Yeah.
To
No,
come
Uh-huh.
together, bring the
Yeah,
because
two together.
symbolic.
yeah,
Mhm.
because palmistry, the
Hmm.
left hand is the right brain, the right hand is the
Right.
left brain. You
Yep.
pull those
Correct.
together, you got
Mhm,
minor chakras going on here, kids.
Yeah,
mhm,
yeah.
It's very powerful just to put your hands together and just breathe. And the
mhm.
last thing I'm going to interject, and I'll be quiet, is when I'm
Don't be.
navigating something that pulls me into the emotional mind, because that's my default. It's not logic. You would think it would be, but
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
No.
I asked myself quite a bit, is that my problem or is that a them problem? Because when you're
Mhm,
navigating unhealthy and toxic people that are stuck in a rinse repeat, they try to put things, at least that's my experience, on me, and it's like that's a boundary. I'm like, wait a minute. One, I don't deserve that. Two, you're gonna be in timeout in my circle,
mhm,
because being close
Hmm.
to me is a privilege. You treat me like shit, you're gonna get booted. I'm
mhm,
not doing it.
mhm,
But just basically, when a situation presents itself, the first thing I'm like is this my problem or is that a them problem? And I can thank my wonderful husband for that little tidbit. He's
mhm.
such a wonderful man. I'm so blessed.
That's
It
great.
is,
So I've
but
got a question for you.
oh
How
crap.
often, how often do you compliment yourself?
Daily. Daily. I read a list of affirmations. I'm a nerd, but I I I feel I need that kind of help. It's one thing
Mhm,
to think it, it's
mhm,
another thing to say it And it's
Mhm.
yet another thing to say it in the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and mean
Mhm.
it. That's
Yep.
what standing in your power is to
Mhm.
me. If you're going to let
Mhm.
some nerd at the freaking grocery store ruin your day, you got bigger problems. But if you pre-party before you socially interact and kind of ramp yourself up, I mean, GB knows when I roll into the healing circle, I
Mhm.
pre-party, I sing the entire
Mhm.
way there because I
Mhm.
want to give what I feel I need,
Yeah.
reciprocity. But
Mhm.
I'll be quiet
Here's a
now.
little. Here's a little.
Yeah.
No, Sophia,
Oh,
that's
you're
Yeah.
good,
perfect.
Sophia.
Oh
That's
no, you're
great.
good.
That's
No,
that's great. And I'm going to
you're
give you.
changing and raising your energy before you go into
Yeah,
clearing with your singing and your
yeah.
what
Yep.
you're right.
Love
You're
my
raising,
people.
clearing,
And
and
I've
yeah,
taken to doing
it's good.
something that like Grandpa Brian does when he puts the stickies on the wall, or Lucky Stone when he does his affirmations. There's one here that's on my mirror, and I brought it up for tonight. Here we go. This is by Frank Herbert Dune, and he wrote, and I read this to myself every day: I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it has gone past, I will turn the inner eye to see its path. Where the fear has gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. I am perfect, whole, and complete.
So it is, so it
Mhm.
shall be,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
amen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Fear
but
really
Oh
is a
yeah.
liar. It lies to you.
yeah,
It is not
getting to
true.
getting
Yeah.
to what Sophia was talking about with
Mhm.
reciprocity, and negative behavioral patterns that people find themselves in, that's reciprocity in action.
Oh
Mhm.
Because,
yes.
because all those people that are like orchestrating all these negative situations around you, they're really a reflection of your negative characteristics. And a typical case in point is, the person who's the perpetual victim of a scam. Well, why
Mhm.
are they a perpetual victim of a scam? Because they're a scammer themselves, because they're
Mhm.
Yeah.
trying to get something for nothing in every case,
Right.
and I've seen that in my own life as well, where I got scammed by a partner because, the deal was I would put up all the money and he would do all the work. Okay, so in other words, I was trying to exploit him. And in so doing, that kind of backfired, and it turned out that he was exploiting me. So
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now,
It didn't work out the way your expectations were not
exactly.
confirmed. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
it's just like the people who fall for like all these like Nigerian scams, like 419 scams or whatever. They're trying to
Mhm.
get something for nothing.
Sure.
yep.
So
Yeah.
we're the scammers.
Mhm.
Doesn't
In other
work.
words,
Yeah.
they're attracting those same types of energies to themselves that they're
Mhm.
projecting out into the universe.
It's like a mirror image, what do I
That's
see
it.
in what is it in them that I see that I don't like? What is that in myself
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
that's hard to hold a mirror up to yourself. And when you start doing that, boy, that's where the real work comes in.
yeah,
Yep.
It truly is. It's like, oh, that must be what I sound like. That must be what people think of me. Oh my goodness. I don't like that about that. And I want to change it. And that's when you get the motivation to be, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. I don't want to be
Yeah.
that person. This is the person
exactly.
I want to be.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Correct.
Hmm. Yep.
Cynthia Wells is in the chat room, and so is Amber Dawn. Good to see
Hey,
you both.
Cynthia
Up,
Wells. Hi,
guys.
Amber. Amber Dawn. Good to see ya.
Hey.
yeah.
You want to know part of my motivation for why I do what I do?
Yeah.
I'm of the persuasion that after we go through the sacred change called death, we go through a life review. This is
Mm-hmm.
my personal conviction. Take what you can use, leave the rest. In
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, when I close my eyes on this world,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to watch a movie. I want to enjoy that movie. I want to be
Yes.
Arsenio Hall going, yeah,
Yeah.
that could have
And you
gone
don't want to have a bunch of
sideways, but look
regrets.
at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, see that
Think
shit
about
go?
that. Yes. Yeah.
That's my motivation. I've peddled
Mm-hmm.
enough
Yep.
anger and hatred and self-destruction. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm
Right.
not. I
It's
refuse.
exhausting.
Hmm.
No, I got those t-shirts and it does not match any of my shoes. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well stated.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
interesting. Mine's a little bit different, but sort of. But I plan on in this life as a Toltec, we learn how to um, how we say get rid of all our personal history, moments, and experience through recapitulation, through our whole life, through every day, through every moment experience. So by the time that I wake up, which is what happens, what I believe, when you die, you actually wake up, and that's
I
practice
agree.
during
Yep,
dreaming and
I
everything else.
agree.
So that as a Toltec, there will be no movie review. There will be nothing for me, for anybody to look at as energy. I would have already processed all that, and I plan on just bolting out to wherever I'm going to go, because there
Mm-hmm.
won't be anything to review, because I've been reviewing it and looking at it my whole life already
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Thank you
while
for
I'm here.
sharing that.
That makes sense.
I like
Yeah.
that perspective,
Love it.
but
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
my convictions are strong. But I
Yep,
Well,
appreciate
no,
you
but
mine too.
it's
sharing that.
similar, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
It
same.
is.
Like,
It
Yep.
is.
depending how you look at before death, how much you review your life or not, and
Mm-hmm.
how much you look at things. It's almost the same. It's just that I hope to look.
Accountability.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I hope to
Yeah.
look. See, it's
Mm-hmm.
exactly. But I'm looking at
Accountability.
and doing the accountability,
Mm-hmm.
previewing all every experience, every moment, and doing that all before I wake up.
I
Hopefully.
I
can't
want
believe I
more
said
good
that to
than
you
bad. I
guys.
want
Hey,
the good to
Oh,
outweigh the bad every
Yep.
hey,
time.
Grandpa Brian,
Uh-huh.
you've been on this journey now. I know you've been on here for a couple years now, because
Yep.
Julianne brought you in. I always used to see you out there in chat. Um, how long have you been on this journey with all my relations?
Ooh,
oh.
4,
Yeah, I'm
5?
going on my 4th year.
Yeah.
On your going on your 4th year.
Yep.
You came through the Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway with Julianne to talk about
Yep.
Reiki. And then you
Yes.
took off. You took off in 5 different directions. You were on every channel talking about all these different things. How did that make you feel? To know that after you've been disciplining yourself at all my relations all this time, you finally get a chance to go public with it beyond that store.
Because when I opened up my gifts, I found out my true purpose, and that was to heal people and to help enlighten people going into this new age. And
Uh-huh.
that's how I try to treat myself every day, is to help
Mm-hmm.
people try to become enlightened. People call me or text me, message me to send healing to them. I send healing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing. When I first started this journey, oh, the shit I got from my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Getting called a pagan,
God, they don't
you
get
know,
it.
her coming from
Oh,
a
I'm
Catholic
sure.
background.
Oh boy.
I
Yeah.
I earned my Reiki 1 certification, and I just had, the piece of paper sitting up on a shelf. I come home from work, and she actually put it in a frame and had it hanging on the wall.
Oh,
So she
That's
knew
great.
how
it meant
important
something
that
to
was.
you.
Correct,
Yes.
because I didn't
Well,
graduate high school. I had a GED. I didn't go to college. I went into construction. And,
uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
all right with
What
that. But
what was
that
the
accomplished.
catalyst? What was the catalyst, Brian? What made you get up from behind the construction table and say, "I'm going to go do a class in Reiki"?
Good
Well,
question.
Mm-hmm. Very good
That's
question.
good.
it all started when I was on a Facebook dating app, and I met a lady, and she actually took me to all my relations for my first psychic reading. I
Hmm.
met Jim. That was Tuesday. Went to group on Wednesday, and they haven't been able to get rid of me since.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Cool.
But
Uh-huh.
I found my spiritual mom and dad, and that's Jim and Heather, that take me
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to that
I'll
spiritual
share.
level
I
that
guess I'll share.
yeah. And
Uh-huh.
Go for it,
Uh-huh.
Sophia.
that's where me and Sophia is lucky, because we have 2 places. All my
Mm-hmm.
Right.
relations in
Yes.
Camp Chesterfield, where we
Yeah.
can go and sit with enlightened people
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
and feel comfortable within ourselves. Because there's a lot of times you're sitting there in a group of Christians and you're going, well, they really don't believe the way I do, so you're kind of feeling
Exactly.
uncomfortable around them. But all my relations, Camp Chesterfield, I know I can be myself, and I know no one's going to judge me, and I'm going to feel comfortable because I'm around enlightened people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Agreed. Well said,
Nice.
Brian. Well said.
You see this piece of art behind me here
Yeah, it's
on the
really
right?
nice, Teresa.
Can you? I don't know if Lori can make it any bigger, but at the bottom of it, there's a spiral there, and this spiral represents the circular path and you see more than one person, each person's walking that path at a different level until they reach their center, which is their sun self. But you're not alone. And so, to the extent that you can do this and experience this journey, even though you're at different levels on the journey, like Lori and I are very far apart when it comes to mediumship, but we're very close when it comes to sacred dreaming and other things. So, we each have our skills, we each have our gifts and talents, and we blend them together, and we're on this journey together, and we're on it with the rest of the panel. We're on it with Karen, we're on it with Dalibor and Brian and Sophia. We come together as a team to bring you our experiences, but each and every one of you is part of this same journey. It's just slightly different levels or accomplishments along the way. And if you could find a group activity, just do one thing, take one class, take one course, and see how it makes you feel, and then move on to the next. And each time it's like stepping stones. And you start expanding. I found myself expanding exponentially when I would try different little things. You got to get out from behind.
I got the spiral too.
Yeah,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
That's a reproduction of a painting by Friedrich Hundertwasser, a German artist.
I'll talk German to me, Dalibor.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
After the show, girls.
Yeah, that's after the show. Sorry, chat. Don't mess up.
I'm
Here's
fading
another way,
away.
Here's
I
something
know,
else.
that's weird.
And Karen can relate to this because we're both in information systems. I just wanted to throw this in real quick, Lori.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not necessarily a feel-good thing or a desire to want to try something. Sometimes it starts with a problem-solving situation. Here's another way to find your true gifts and talents. Find a problem that you care about, okay? And start solving it. Just start solving it. Now, obviously, you're not going to fix the whole world's problems, right? All by yourself. But you can make a contribution or make a difference. So there might be a problem in your community. Might be a problem at work. Might be a problem in your social group. Might be a problem with a family member. The point is that you can make a contribution and make a difference in that situation. And once you get that feeling that you're making a difference, no matter how small, it's ultimately a feeling of your own happiness. It brings you a certain fulfillment to solve a problem.
Yeah,
And
it's sort of like the whole concept of the act of kindness, random acts of kindness. So that's basically the same thing.
I think our guides get really giddy.
How it snowballs into that whole energy,
Yeah.
Yeah, your guides
Most definitely.
Yeah. Your guides get giddy with you when you do good things and when you're on the right track. It absolutely just stokes them up. And they're your biggest fan. I mean, they've been with you probably many lifetimes. You've got primary guides. You have guides that come in, step in for a little while and do their thing. But they absolutely get cheeky giddy with you when you're doing your best and living your best life, because you're not wasting the time that you have here. You're making the most of it. And it
builds you up. It builds confidence.
It does.
Did I do that? Did I freaking fix that? Did I just show everybody else how to do that? I'm good at something.
Yeah.
Even if it's something
that's
small.
the thing.
Yeah.
I've noticed a pattern in my life as well. Like, people pop out of the woodwork that I don't even know, asking me for insight into like how to solve their problems. It's like, for whatever reason, I got that reputation where people come to me for answers, and I'm like, well, based on what I see or what you're telling me, this would be the most logical course of action, or this or that or the other thing. In other words, that's other people are one of the ways that you can discover your own true talents and abilities.
Yeah, so true. Yep.
Yeah. I have a lot of people that just come up to me and they just start dumping their problems on me.
Same here.
Just to get off their chest.
Hmm.
a previous life when I was a pagan. I was a sin eater, and I actually sat with people when they were dying, and they would just talk and get things off their chest before they crossed over.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of carried over into this life. I mean, we were at a customer's house, and the next door neighbor came over and was telling me about her divorce and what was going on in her life. And, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I let her
Now,
say
do
what
you
she had to say, and
honestly,
she felt better after she got done talking.
I bet she
so
did.
Brian, do you honestly believe that you would have been able to do that, or that you would have been called upon like this, or that you would be where you are now had you not said, I'm going to go take a class at All My Relations?
Well, like I
Spirit
said,
would have found a way.
yeah, it was, spirit would have found a way because I'm supposed to be where I'm at this point in time. So somehow, some way, I would have ended up right here at this point in time with you, no matter
What?
because it was said on this
Predetermined.
journey.
It was
Destiny.
part of
It's your
agreement.
destiny.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
took the scenic route. We'd have just took the scenic route.
That's right.
Mhm.
That's what I
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
that
we
was-
all chose to come in at this time to experience this great awakening and
Yeah.
And I think
So
a
it's
lot
not
of us
so
are
the
here
key-
to
realization.
help. I think a
Mhm.
lot of
Yeah.
us are here to help in this.
Oh yeah,
great
we're all
awakening.
light workers. Yeah.
And so what I hear him saying is that there is a catalyst. Now, in this case, it was All My Relations. It could have been one of 10 or 20 other catalysts. But how are you going to know what that catalyst is if you don't start the exploration?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I would say
So
most
where do you
times you
start?
don't know the catalyst. It's always hindsight that you realize what the
That's true
catalyst
too.
is.
Yeah.
'Cause you
That's
don't
true
usually
too.
realize it at the moment. It's
Mhm.
always after the fact.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's what happened.
Mhm.
That's how I
Yeah.
got here. Oh yeah.
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 You know those people in your life that are the catalysts. They're the ones that gets the ball rolling, and then you're holding that ball, going, "Wow, how'd this happen?"
Yeah, you
Guess
don't
it's my
always know it
turn.
until you're knee deep in it, right? You don't always know
Yeah,
it until you're
most
knee deep in it.
definitely. Yeah.
Yep.
But there are people out there that they do find their gifts, but they're not real trusting of their gifts. You know what I'm saying?
fair.
Yeah,
Takes
sure.
courage.
And
Courage,
yeah, it just takes
confidence. Yep.
practice.
Mhm. Yep. Don't give up on
Confidence.
yourself, and
Well,
don't give
there's
up
been
on others.
people. There's been people that have wanted to. I'm just going to give this as a small example. I'm sure Robert can relate to this. Hi, Robert. Welcome. Because Robert's a show host as well, and he's good about giving people a spotlight. You know, letting different people from the tribe come on and talk and share their stories. He's good at that. Now, there have been folks that have come to me and said, I have a topic that I think might be of interest. And I'll say, really? Well, why? You know, and I'll listen to them. It could be an hour-long conversation, or it could be a 20-minute, or it could be several exchanges of text messages. And I find out why they're so interested in this topic. And then I'll say, well, maybe you should come on and talk about that. Oh, I've never been in front of a camera before. Doesn't matter. I'll help you with it.
Yep.
She
I'll
will.
sit down. I will sit down with you, and I will help you come up with an outline. I'll help you pull the pictures. I'll show you how to give a presentation. I'll even do a slideshow with you and show you how to come on and present yourself. And maybe you've tried it once or twice before. You didn't feel good about it. Why didn't you feel good about it? Oh, well, sure, we could fix that. We could do it this way. Then maybe you'll feel better about it. That's how we help each other, encourage each other, and lift each other, and support each other, and work with each other. And that's how you bring out the qualities within another person. You help them to see not what didn't work, but what will work. And do you really care about this? And let's make it your showcase. What? No, I can't go in front of a camera. Okay. You don't have to have a camera on. You can have a little talking bubble. You know, there's ways we can do it to make you feel comfortable. And we've brought people in that way, and they've excelled, and they're on different channels talking and having a good time. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm giving you an example of how this can work in this kind of a virtual community that we have, where we don't have an All My Relations or a Camp Chesterfield or something like that. but we're part of a virtual community, and there's lots of YouTube channels, and
Yep.
you can share your gifts and talents that way, and then you can go one on one.
Create your own channel.
Yep.
Create your own
Yep.
channel.
Mhm.
Yeah. Draw your own crowd in and like-minded individuals. Do your own thing. Sophia, were you going to say something?
Nah, I'm okay. I'm
Uh-huh.
chatting. Scotty's being funny again.
Mhm.
That's cool. Yeah, you
Speaking-
speak your truth.
Speaking of which, everyone, don't forget, keep Scotty in your prayers, okay, and in your intents, because he's been going through something, and
Love you,
I
Scotty.
think he's
Yep.
doing a little bit better, but it's tough what he's going through.
Yep, we
So-
all got our trials and tribulations, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, guys,
Yep.
we're coming to the end of the hour, a little bit over the hour. And any final thoughts, you guys? Anybody have any final thoughts?
Just be yourself and
Mhm.
trust yourself.
Trust, yeah. I like
Mhm.
that. Sophia,
Mhm.
any final thoughts?
I would say we're the way we are for a very good reason, and it's a personal responsibility to take time for ourselves, to do the journaling, do the meditation, do the contemplation, because meditation is actually a 6-part process, and a lot of people will get to a space and receive, but they don't write it down. For
Yeah.
crying out loud.
Journaling is so important.
Indeed.
And you
But-
can go back and look at it later and really talk about hindsight. That's where you
I
see
do a
where
face palm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I forgot
Right.
that. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Awesome. Delabor, final thoughts?
Well, if you want to find a solution to a problem, you can go about it either logically or emotionally, left brain or right brain. But
Mhm.
there's a higher order than logic or emotion, and that would be intuition.
I like that.
So once you use your intuition, you're actually using your highest mental capacity from
Mhm.
both the left brain and the right brain.
I like that.
Mhm.
That's good advice.
Nice.
How about you,
Absolutely.
Karen? Any final thoughts for you?
Oh dear. I go through, when you wake up in the morning, what I generally do is I always think about what I want to create for myself for that
Mhm.
day. Instead of doing the same routine every day,
Yeah.
something small and to manifest. But I always wake up creating my day and manifesting, and always pick something to make sure that I do it. And then at the end of the day, I always feel accomplishment and that I've done something, and it can be something really small. It doesn't have to be, or something very large, like moving a whole room or doing something big. But each day I try to manifest something new for myself.
I like that. That's awesome. How about you, Grandpa Brian? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I said earlier, just be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yep.
love,
Just
love,
do you.
love.
Yep.
And the other thing I would add is you can't change who you were, but you can change who you're gonna be.
Yeah.
Great.
Good
Yeah,
one. Nice
that's
one,
right.
Gallagher.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Yeah, good one.
Transform, baby. Transform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've pretty much, starting small and celebrating, but a couple questions you can ask yourself, and I can send this list of questions to you if you're interested. No questions asked on my part. Just say email it to me and I will. Things you can ask yourself on this journey. Do you know who you are as a person or where you want to go in life? What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? What would you do even if you didn't get paid for it? What would be so intrinsically rewarding for you and based on what you value most? Because this is going to be your calling, or one of them. Are you willing to put in the work to cultivate self-discipline? Is a life of purpose and fulfillment important enough to you to embrace inconvenience in order to achieve it? Putting this another way, what are you willing to suffer for? Because sometimes not everything's pleasurable or uplifting all the time. So the question becomes, what struggle or sacrifice are you willing to tolerate to achieve what you want to achieve? And whose opinion do you value more, your own or other people's? Are you willing to put in the work to be honest with yourself and your needs and to find a purpose powerful enough to outweigh your fears? So those are the questions for this type of journey that most people are going to make when they're saying, you know what? I don't feel like I'm living up to my full potential and I just don't know why. Ask these questions and maybe you'll find the answers you're seeking. And I'll be happy to send them to you in an email. All right.
Yep. Sounds good. Also, too, for me, it's strive to be the best version of you can be. Always strive to be the best version of you can be. Also, too, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you, everyone in chat. Thank you, our beautiful subscribers. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do like, share, subscribe, feed the algorithms. They're super hungry for your likes and subscribes. Okay. Want everybody to have a wonderful weekend and enjoy themselves and do something nice for someone. Even do something nice for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and live your best life. And remember that when you look back on it, you know, how's my life now? Am I going to look back on this and have regrets? No, I'm not going to have any regrets. And I'm going to learn from my mistakes and I'm not going to repeat them. So those are my final thoughts. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you next week. Also, we are looking forward to next week's show. Watch for the trailer. That always gives you a nice light indication of what we're going to be talking about. And thanks again and appreciate each and every one of you. So have
After
a wonderful
party.
night.
Woo woo.
Yeah, party time.
Love you guys.
After the show.
Bye.
All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Oh.